The 2023-2024 Premier League season has concluded. City have won it for a record 4th time. I mean, congrats to them, I suppose. But the rest of the world, we're all hurting over the fact that that happened. But I figured no better time than now to look at my team of the year. Sound off with your team of the year in the comment section down below. Let me know if you agree with mine, disagree with mine. I'm going to have a starting 11 with 2 sets of honorable mentions. And yeah, we're going to get stuck into things with the goalkeeper. As always, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and like the video if you end up enjoying. This might be a controversial pick. This might be my most controversial pick in the list. I'm going to go with Jordan Pickford. Jordan Pickford, as a Liverpool fan, I hate this man. He purposefully injured Van Dijk, I still think. T-Rex arms, all the slander names you can think of. I really resent Jordan Pickford, but to get 13 clean sheets, the 2nd most in the league, right behind David Raya, to lead Everton to the 4th best defense in the league, huge kind of plaudits for that. I want to kind of set the tone for this 11, this team of the year, because I want to go for players that really made the biggest impact to their side in that specific position. There's a couple people that you might be like, why is he there? But it's more of like a kind of representation. We'll see that as we go. But Jordan Pickford for now, he's my goalie for the team of the year. And we're going to go straightforward into a bit more straightforward of an option pick. I'm going to go with Ben White. Not a lot of the right backs that are usually at the end of the year lists, the likes of Reece James, Trippier, Trent, they really haven't been at their very best. There's other people you can include, but personally for me, I think that Ben White just possessed the most balance. 4 goals, 4 assists, 13 clean sheets. That's pretty fantastic for someone who, for me, last season, I was really down on Ben White in terms of stock. He proved me wrong, though, nonetheless. Back-to-back runners-up, Arsenal, and I think he was a really big part of keeping that back line relatively stable. And I mean, he contributed to the best defense in the league. So, gotta add him there. The next player, another Arsenal player, and you might be like, not confused whatsoever as to why I have Saliba there, and you'd be right, because there should be no confusion. Every minute for Arsenal, 18 clean sheets, 2 goals and assist. Brilliant stats from William Saliba. He was absolutely incredible, and he's still very young for a center back, so he's gonna kind of grow into a more poised leader as the seasons progress. Arsenal have a gem there. Definitely a little envious, won't lie, but he's there, and he was the best center back this season from like a total all-encompassing perspective. I think Saliba was immense. And here is where it gets a bit like tricky. I initially was going to have somebody else here, but I decided to go with his center back partner, his being William Saliba's, Gabriel Magalhaes. He was everywhere for Arsenal. I mean, he was scoring goals. He was assisting. He was, he actually didn't assist once. I lied. He had 4 goals, 15 clean sheets, but he was popping up with goals like crazy. It really was insane. And also being part of the best defense in the league, I feel like that adds a lot of kind of weight to him. I know that the back line's basically just Arsenal players and Pickford for now, but trust me, shall change. I feel like Gabriel he wasn't the better of the 2 center backs, but he felt a bit more like the glue, I guess. Him being able to pass so well left-footed is a big part as to why Arsenal can play. He is a fantastic passer, and I think he was just such a force this season. But we're going to not dilly-dally the defense more. We're going to add Joško Gvardiol to left back. And there's someone here who I could have kind of given, but it's not necessarily the exact vibe I'm going for this list. A lot of left backs also out of form this season. The likes of Robertson, Chilwell, Shaw types of people that you would expect to see on the end of the year list. But for me personally, gvardiol, it might be a bit of a recency bias take, but I feel like he was arguably City's best signing this summer. He's grown into that role. He's been able to play left back, been able to play center back. We'll see how Pep decides to kind of evolve his role at City as he kind of becomes more comfortable there. But he started scoring goals too. gvardiol has 4 goals and an assist and 9 clean sheets. I feel like I want to have him here because it's an accurate representation of how City's season went. It was a good season. It was a little shaky to start. It wasn't like the greatest, but it does feel like a culmination of things. And he does feel like the culmination of things for a Pep player. I feel like we saw that a lot this season, especially towards the business end. And yeah, I feel like the only other person I might have given this to was Anthony Robinson, but ultimately your team's success matters, and Fulham, they weren't that great. Yeah, moving forward, we're going to go with the right mid position, and another obvious shout, Cole Palmer. What a player. People doubted him when he left City. He's balled out since. 22 goals, 11 assists, 3 hat tricks. What a player. Just sensational. Truly sensational. He deserves to have all the plaudits. He deserves to be basically the main guy at the bridge for years to come, I think. So credit where credit's due. I don't think I really have to say much more about Cole Palmer, but he really did kind of play hero ball at Chelsea this season. Times it felt like he was very, very instrumental in getting them a European Cup spot for next season. So he's got to be on the list. Next up, the rest of these are fairly obvious. Rodri, I mean, what a player. What more do I need to say about Rodri that hasn't been said? 8 goals, 9 assists. This season, he's kind of evolved. He used to be just a kind of destroyer, tactical foul merchant type. This season, he feels like a really all-encompassing and complete version of Rodri. He feels like maybe not stylistically, and sometimes it is stylistically, but he is like the spiritual successor to Busquets in so many ways. Pep system, Spanish, defensive mid, not the quickest, but he is a sensational player nonetheless. I think most people will agree Rodri deserves a spot on the list. Next up, left center mid, and I did decide to go for the 4-4-2 because obviously we're looking at the Premier League team of the year. The Premier League Brexit ball just felt right, and it was also the easiest way to fit in the play. So, next player, Martin Odegaard. Last season, I really was questioning if he was going to be able to kind of carry himself as a captain consistently. And while they didn't win anything this season, I do think Martin Odegaard was huge for Arsenal. People will say Declan Rice, but I don't know. I personally disagree on that one. I think Rice was pretty great, but he also felt like, I don't know, something feels missing from Declan Rice's game. I do think that he does have his downfalls. Odegaard, less so. I think Martin Odegaard is absolutely brilliant for Arsenal most times when he plays, and he's usually what makes them tick. So he's doing everything a captain should, and yeah, that's why I have him on the list. Left mid, another obvious inclusion. Philip Foden. I mean, what a player. We saw what he did on the final day of the season. Lots of class in Phil Foden. 19 goals, 8 assists, 2 hat tricks. Scored a brace on the final day. He scored 6 goals from outside the box. That all speaks for itself. I feel like he's going to be a big candidate for not team of the year, for player of the season for a lot of people. And honestly, I think if he ends up getting it, what more would somebody expect? I feel like that'd be pretty smack dab, pretty spot on. Phil Foden, very easy inclusion. And we're going to continue the Man City trend with another obvious City inclusion, Erling Haaland. This man needs no introduction. 27 goals, 5 assists, 2 hat tricks. I won't lie, there was a part of me that contemplated not having him on the list for memes, but like, and I would get that, but he also like breaks the Premier League. 32 goal contributions, and sure, he's missed some sitters, but City won the league for a 4th time. He was still fantastic, even though he did feel like a worse version of himself. I think the reason why he regressed a bit is due to the fact that I don't know why, and I do truly respect Pep Guardiola as a tactician, but bro, give him a rest. He's getting like destroyed out there. He's lucky that Norway's not at the Euros. Like, are they at the Euros? Did they miss the World Cup? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section below whether Norway's going to the Euros. I can't remember. But he's played a huge amount of games this season. He had to ask to get subbed off in the Real Madrid semifinal. So, you know, all things considered, his standard is better. But man, the precedent he set this season was crazy. And yeah, so don't really feel like I need to speak more on that. But the final person I do want to speak on a bit, Ollie Watkins. What a player. Ollie Watkins had 19 goals, 13 assists, a hat trick this season. He has become a man possessed under Unai Emery, and it's showing. And it seems like there's just not going to be a stop to it. Feels like Watkins is the player that, you know, the squad is built around. And I mean, he's repaying Emery with the faith that he had in him, and they're doing incredible stuff. So yeah, don't really think that there's much to add. I mean, bringing Aston Villa to the Champions League, I feel like that is noteworthy enough to include you in a team of the year. That's why Watkins is there. And you might be like, oh my God, no Liverpool players. And I know, I thought of having a couple people, and I'll get to the honorable mentions real quick. I'll just let people look really quick at the starting 11 that I decided to go with. But here are the honorable mentions. Let me know who your starting 11 is. My honorable mentions are 2 sets of 4 players. So the first row will be the first set of players, and the second row will be the second set of players. It's a marginal difference between the sets, but it is a difference nonetheless. And the people in the top row, I personally think, just had a slightly better season. So I'll have a forward, a midfielder, a defender, and a goalie for each of them. And yeah, I'm just going to unveil them really quickly, talk about everybody, and wrap up the video. So this is my honorable mentions. The first honorable mentions are David Raya, Virgil van Dijk, John McGinn, and Mohamed Salah. And my second set of honorable mentions are Vicario, Walker, Eze, and Saka. Just a step removed from being in that contention. I feel like obviously everybody in this honorable mention is removed from being in the contention for the team of the year, but those are my players for the team of the year. My starting 11, my honorable mentions, and my second honorable mentions. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. Hope you enjoyed. Consider subscribing if you're new. Like the video if you enjoyed, and comment down below with your team of the year. Let me know who you would pick, and let me know what you think of my list. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Sideline Sedo. Peace.